very honored today to read what David's daughter's Melody, Miriam and Rachel wrote, plus I would also be remiss if I didn't say that I've known David and his dear wife Lori since 2006 when I lost my vision to diabetes. And I'm very proud to be working with him with the National Federation of the Blind here in Long Island and advocating for the blind all across the United States. So without further ado, this is what they've written about their father. We're sorry we couldn't be here in person tonight as you honor our father, David Stair, as Social Worker of the Year. But we are grateful to have the chance to share a little about our father with you anyway. Our father has always been our hero. We were raised on stories of how we never let anyone get away with dismissing him because of his supposed disability. And we watched as he taught us the same thing by example. We certainly never thought of him as disabled. Our father has always seen his blindness only as a minor inconvenience and has used it as an opportunity to help others. Our father came into this world early, so tiny the doctors were sure he wouldn't even survive through the night. Boy, were they ever wrong. And that was just the beginning. Dad has climbed trees, ridden a bicycle, gone cross-country skiing, flown a small plane, and even driven a car. He's also traveled across the country, served on committees, lobbied for the rights of all people, performed in many shows and concerts, and so many other things that we could go on for hours listing them all. He did all these things either because someone made the mistake of saying to him that blind people couldn't do these things, because the opportunity presented itself, or because he has always lived the life to the fullest, doing what makes him happy and what feels right to him. Our father is the most honest person we know. Some of our favorite memories as children revolve around walking in a local shopping center together. One time we bought some dessert items, pints of non-dairy ice cream, and the different flavors rung up as different prices. Having read the shelf tags, we knew the higher prices were correct for both flavors. The cashier sent us to customer service, and we stood online hoping the ice cream wouldn't melt too much so Dad could complain about being undercharged. It took the woman at the desk a little while to understand, but when she did, she wouldn't let him pay the difference. She must have made a note of it though, because the next time we bought the same product, they had fixed the registers and it rang out properly. Our father is also all about helping other people. When he graduated from college and was looking at graduate school, he was trying to decide between law and social work. So he spoke to a lawyer and a social worker about their careers. We probably shouldn't repeat what the lawyer said. Let's put it this way, he must have spoken to the only dishonest lawyer in the entire world. But the lawyer spoke of backroom and under the table deals. Naturally, this did not really appeal to our very honest father. The social worker clinched the deal when he said, "You won't get rich from being a social worker, but you'll help a lot of people." Our father very rarely spoke about his patients to us, as he respected their privacy. The very few stories from work that he did share included a young lady who he helped diagnose as bulimic, in part because everyone had exclaimed over her gorgeous long nails. He shook hands with her The nails on her right hand were short. Dad realized that she used those for making herself grow up. He also told us about the time he disarmed a patient who was holding a knife on a nurse, who apparently didn't see our father as a threat. There was also a time he pushed a patient into a wheelchair at the length of the hospital, stopping frequently to check out the next piece of hallway with his cane. As co-workers passed by and greeted him, but did not offer any help. From an MD friend of Miriam's who did her residency in the hospital where our father worked, he heard about the time he rescued her on a Friday afternoon. He happened upon her as she was trying to figure out how to recently released elderly patient was getting home. My father immediately offered to arrange a ride home for the patient so that my friend could get herself to go home. We often saw our father continuing to help people after hours through involvement in the National Federation of the Blind. Last year during Shiva, the first intense week of mourning after our mother's death, Dad found out that one of our visitors was studying social work and had a question about some program requirements. He offered to email one of the social work professors at a school who he is personally acquainted with to see if he could get some answers, and took down her contact information. He might be officially retired, but he's certainly not stopped helping people wherever he finds a chance. Our father is a grandfather to 13 grandchildren who he continues to educate about how to be independent and what it means to be blind, that has never seen himself as having a disability and has accomplished more in his life than many could in 100 lifetimes. We are proud to call him our father and love that he continues to share all of his amazing gifts and qualities with other children. One final note here, David's Temple, Young Israel of Merit, the Sisterhood, is making a donation in David's name tonight.
Good news is, I had prepared the speech in Braille, but it was so large I couldn't carry it. I'd like to thank NASW for this award, which is totally unexpected. And I'd like to thank the other honorees for sharing their time with me. Social work, where we see the potential in offering you a challenge tonight. And that challenge is to see the potential in ourselves. I'm going to tell you a couple of stories where I tried to use my blindness as a positive. I had a patient who I saw for 2 years, and his wife would call everybody over, is he with you? So I made a deal with the patient. I said to him, I said, look, if your wife asks me if you're with me, I have to answer her. But for 2 years, the lady said, have you seen my husband? I could actually sit there and say no. And that helped me with the department. At that time, the Nassau University Medical Center didn't have a phone system where you could take a message. So I knew she'd call, so the best way to get her. So as I said, she said, have you seen my husband? And it was very quickly ended the phone call. The other story is, for a while, when the ADA came out and everybody had to offer interpreters, they said, okay, let the blind guy do it. And what happened was that a patient came in and was deaf, and we couldn't get an interpreter, but fortunately, I had a laptop with a screen reader, and she was able to type. So what we did was that I would type on the computer, she would take a look at it, she would type in the answer, and with my screen reader I could hear it. And at the end of the interview we hugged, and whenever she came, we never needed an interpreter. One of the important things to me is that I got involved with the National Federation of the Blind. It has changed my philosophy in the sense that we view blindness as a nuisance or an inconvenience, and sometimes it is, and sometimes it's very frustrating. There are a couple of things that I'm working on related to our own profession. For example, last year, I went online to renew my membership. I couldn't do it. I got as far as putting in my credit card number, and I was dead, because there was a CAPTCHA. And if you don't know what that, I think I'm pronouncing it right. What it is it's numbers or letters embedded in a picture, and of course the screen reader can't read that. So I had to call. Now they said, well, you know, you can call us. I said, that's not the same thing. I said, if we as a national organization don't even allow our own professionals who are disabled to access things, are we really doing what we claim we do for people who are disabled? Well, a week ago, I went to renew my membership, and online I was able to do it. One of the things that I'm currently fighting for is that the licensure preparation exams and the license exam itself are accessible. I'm still working on that. And also, I'm still trying to find out, once it's said, whether acquiring CEUs online will be accessible. I don't know, but I'm working on it. One of the things that I hope to do, or continue to do, is to use the values of our social work profession, which are extremely important to me. And they are part of my belief system, along with those of the National Federation of the Blind. I have a responsibility to seek out what I believe is the divine spark in everyone. And I think that the challenge I issue to all of us is to seek out that spark within ourselves. Some people call me a dreamer, but someday I may not have to dream the impossible dream, to fight the unbeatable foe, to bear an unbearable sorrow, to run where the brave dare not go, to right the unrightable wrong, to love pure and chaste from afar, to try when your arms are too weary, to reach the unreachable star. This is my quest, to follow that star, no matter how hopeless, no matter how far, to fight for the right without question or pause, to be willing to march into hell for an heavenly cause. And I know if I'll only be true to this glorious quest, that my heart will lie peaceful and calm when I'm laid to my rest. And the world will be better for this. That one man, scorned and covered with scars, still strove with his last ounce of courage to reach the unreachable star. National Association of Social Workers, New York State Chapter, Southern Division, Social Worker of the Year, David Stayer, LCSW, in recognition of his leadership, compassion. Passion, empathy, and initiative towards social rights and client advocacy, presented on June 4, 2015. Yeah!